we have a big Sunday night game that's going down for the AFC East Crown. The Bills and the Dolphins is going down. Zach, who you like and why?
Yeah, well, so I wanted to start off by saying, and we hinted at this a little bit at the beginning of the show, is I love this time of year, right? Like I was at work today just consistently on the NFL playoff machine on ESPN, just like punching all these different scenarios. Like if this team wins and this team loses, like what does this team need to get in? All the seeding scenarios. Like I've been having a great time with this. And that's what makes this time of year so great. But let me tell you something about this game. So the Steelers, right? They play the Ravens on Saturday. Let's say the Steelers win the game, which is very possible considering in all likelihood, like Lamar Jackson's not going to play. The Ravens have the number 1 seed locked up. They shouldn't be playing really the majority of their starters. So let's say the Steelers beat them. And let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars go into Tennessee and beat the Titans. That's a game they should win, Trevor Lawrence playing or not. Tennessee got dismantled by Houston on Sunday. That's a game Jacksonville should win. So let's say those two likely results happen. The stakes on this game for the Buffalo Bills could not be any more massive. If they win and those two results happen, again, the Steelers win over the Ravens and the Jaguars beating the Titans. If the Bills win, they would be the number 2 seed in the AFC behind Baltimore. If they lose, they would miss the playoffs entirely. And I got to be honest, when I'm looking at Buffalo over the course of the last 3 or 4 weeks, I really haven't been that impressed. Like they were losing with 30 seconds left to Easton Stick and the Chargers. Like they easily could have lost that game. On Sunday against the Patriots, I thought that was a game they should have won pretty comfortably. New England turned the ball over 4 times inside their own 20-yard line. And still, that was a 6-point game in the final minutes, and Buffalo's defense needed to stop to secure the victory. And then the week before that, I'll give the Bills credit. Excuse me. They went into Arrowhead Stadium and beat the Chiefs. That's now the 3rd consecutive regular season game that they've done that. But we know the deal. Like if Kadarius Toney just lines up a foot more on sides, then Kansas City wins that game thanks to the long touchdown. So to be honest, I haven't been that impressed with Buffalo, and I know what happened to the Dolphins on Sunday, right? Like the Ravens really dominated that game from start to finish. But honestly, like I think that game was more of an indictment on Baltimore and how well they've been playing lately, how well Lamar Jackson has been playing lately. And man, like I know injuries are starting to rack up for the Dolphins too. Like Bradley Chubb, that's the big loss, tearing his ACL. I don't know how he was even in that game in the final 3 minutes. You know, the Dolphins were down 30 points. I don't really know what Mike McDaniel's doing, keeping anyone of significance in that game. Xavier Howard, corner, he's not going to play, so that means we're going to be seeing our fair share of Eli Apple. Not ideal. You know, who knows what Jalen Waddle and his status is going to be. But I want to make a point on Tyreek Hill before I pass the mic to you, Will. And here's my thing, right? The other night, we were actually texting in our chat off air during the Cowboys-Lions game, and I brought up what you and a lot of other people might have considered a hot take. I said that CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL this season right now. And I honestly think he has a legit argument of being the best receiver in the NFL so far this season, because in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, this guy's been going off. He did it against Seattle. He did it against Detroit on Saturday night. And my beef with Tyreek Hill is, as great of a player as he is, I feel like every time the Dolphins have played a great team, he hasn't really had a great game. Like he hasn't gone off. Like he was silent against Philadelphia. He had a nice catch on the final drive against Dallas, but his numbers weren't, you know, usually what they are with Tyreek. The first time they played the Bills, he didn't do much. They played Kansas City in Germany. He had a costly fumble, was nowhere to be found. Like I want to see Tyreek Hill have a vintage Tyreek Hill game in the biggest moments.
He had a drop last week too. Yeah,
exactly.
He had a drop last week too.
Dude, the ball was in his hands in the end zone, and that was early in the game, bro. Like if Miami scores there, maybe that game goes differently. So I think Tyreek Hill is going to have his best game of the season. I think Tua is going to step up. I think Miami has the coaching advantage with McDaniel over McDermott. And my thing with the Buffalo Bills to end, like, I don't care how well this team plays in any certain game. They could beat Miami by 30 on Sunday night. This team is the ultimate roller coaster. They have been for the last 2 or 3 years, really, since Josh Allen developed and became one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Like, I have seen no evidence that the Buffalo Bills could play 3 or 4 straight games of consistently great football. They're way too inconsistent. Their highs are tremendously high, but their lows are just tremendously low. I thought they were fortunate that they didn't lose either of the last 2 games against the Chargers or the Patriots. I can't trust them. Miami hasn't won the division since 2008. I think that fan base is going to be fired up. I think that building is going to be on fire. I like the Dolphins to win this game and to secure not only the AFC East, but the number 2 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, man, it's funny, right? Because last week you made a take for 99 in which you said that Miami made the biggest statement in week 16. And I got to be honest with you, I wasn't sold. You know, the Cowboys win, considering their issues in their own right, wasn't enough for me. And I was hoping that I was going to get that, take that you got, and it was going to sell me after the Ravens game. I'm like, all right, okay, Cowboys, they bad on the road anyway, okay? Let's see the Ravens game, okay? And if they can win the Ravens game again that they won last year, now I'm sold. And they got 50 dropped on their heads. No, I'm not sold. You know, it was just a bad game, and I kind of had all sorts of flashbacks there. You know, you talk about the injuries. This team is a very injury-riddled team. You know, Jalen Waddle, every big game. You talk about every big game for Tyreek Hill not showing up. Well, guess what? He don't have his co-star every big game because he get knocked out the game in every big game. You know, the Eagles being that game, the Chiefs being that game, okay? And the game against the Cowboys got knocked out the game, right? So you talk about all the injuries and guys dropping balls and guys not being there. Then you got Xavier Howard get hurt. You got my guy Bradley Chubb. What is he doing in the game? The game is over. It's been over since the second quarter. And he's still in the game. He gets hurt out for the year, torn ACL. Nah, I just don't believe they answered the narrative. I don't believe they answered the narrative of beating a good team. However, there's one narrative that they did answer this year. Congratulations, Tua. You made it. Week 17, week 18. You played all 17 games this year. That was a narrative that we was questioning this year. You know, should they get a backup quarterback? They did for insurance. But do they need another quarterback? You know, it's 2 of the guys. He's going to be healthy. All the concussions. He played a full season. Congratulations to Tua with an opportunity to win a game for all the marbles, to win the game, to go and win the East and have a home playoff game, right? And with the Bills, you look at their season and we talk about how tumultuous this season was, how much of a roller coaster it is, up and down, and oh, here's the dip, oh, you know, and then they're going up again, yeah, and that's been Buffalo for the last couple of years, and we know that. We know the Buffalo experience. I told you countless times on the show, they remind me of the Boston Celtics in the NBA. It's up and it's down and it's up and it's down. We down 0-3, then we tied up 3-3 with a chance to win Game 7, and we lose. And remember a couple weeks back, Zach, they called me the Leel for a reason. Put some respect on my name. I told you about a month in advance, maybe longer than a month, might have been 2 months ago, when Buffalo lost to Denver. The sky is falling. I sat here on this mic and I told you, Zach, that they are going to remind me of last year's Eastern Conference Boston Celtics that's going to be down 0-3, ties it up 3-3, and then lose the Game 7. I said I could see their scenario being like that, where they get in position to have a winning-in situation, they're probably going to lose. But as much as I want to stamp my prediction and go out on my donkey as the Leel there, I'm actually going to pivot. I actually like what I'm seeing from Buffalo. You don't like it, Zach? I like it. You know, it's not cute. It was cute last year. Where did it got him? It was cute the year before. Where did it get them? Nowhere. Yes, play that ugly football. Okay, yeah. Run the ball. Stephon Diggs, a myth. I don't want to hear about Stephon Diggs no more. Okay, I really don't. I don't care about his wants and needs with the ball, because you look at the season, you know, it's a tale of 2 seasons for Stephon Diggs. He started off the year through the first 9 games of the season, 70 catches for 834 yards and 7 touchdowns. Over the last 7 games, only 30 catches for 262 yards and 1 touchdown. The Bills don't need to fall for the okie doke. Don't get caught up in what Diggs wants. He wants the ball. I want wins. He wants the ball. I want wins. Okay? Don't get too cute. Play your style. Run the football with James Cook. He needs to be the MVP of that game, just like how he was against the Cowboys. We need that James Cook again. And if they do that, if they run the ball, okay, I'm actually going to go with Buffalo to win this game. And I think they're going to win this game because they have to. The Dolphins have a safety net. They don't have to win this game to get in. They will get in. And I think they want to play Kansas City, with all due respect. I know what Kansas City been looking like. I mean, yeah, I want the home game. Don't get me wrong. But if I have an opportunity to beat the Chiefs on the road, I might just take that way, because they've been looking straight garbage. All right, say what you want about the Bengals, but they've been looking garbage. Their offense stinks. Okay, and they beat us early in the year. Now we got to get that back. Okay, so I think they have a safety net. Buffalo, they need to win this game because I mean they're probably going to know by the time this game kick off if they need it or not because the Steelers got to play and all that. But they may need this game. The Steelers may win. The Ravens may bench their starters. So guess what? I think Buffalo is built for this time. I question their mental toughness over the last couple of years with good reasoning. But this year, it hasn't been pretty. But they have been getting the job done. They have been winning the games they need to get into this spot. And I think they're going to cap that off. I'm very worried about the Dolphins right now because I think they're limping. I think what happened last week was a shot they didn't see coming, and they got knocked to the canvas. But can they get up is the $1 million question. And we'll find that out come Sunday night.
Yeah, and Miami, keep in mind, dude, I thought they did a good job responding after that Titans loss. Like, I was kind of worried about them and how they would respond after that, but they responded in a nice way, blowing out the Jets, down a bunch of starters. Tyreek Hill didn't play in that game, and beating Dallas. Say what you want about the Cowboys and their road struggles, but I really think that game on Sunday was just more of a indictment of Baltimore and how well they've been playing. And I just trust Miami more. I'll give them the edge at home, but I'm just intrigued by these playoff scenarios, man. Like, could you imagine if Buffalo is playing in a game where if they win, they're the 2 seed, but if they lose, they're out of the playoffs? Like, have we ever seen that before? Like, I never have.
It's been this type of season for the Buffalo Bills. And, a part of me, first of all, let's be real here. Even though I sound very authoritative there, and I don't know, I think this game is very close, because I think this year has also been on the flip side about Mike McDaniel adjustments and the adjustments he's made this year in particular. Last year, they couldn't run the football. This year, they had one of the best rushing attacks in the league. They get blown out the gym one week, and then they win the next game, right? And then we saw what happened early in the year between these two teams. They got dominated in the trenches, but are they going to be able to do that again? Tyreek Hill had 3 catches for about 58 yards. Come on, what are you doing? Is that going to be the same thing? Is Mike McDaniel going to be watching film right now as we talking on the show? He's watching film saying, I'm going to get Tyreek Hill the ball. You think so? Maybe it is so. I don't know. I just think I'm leaning towards the Bills just a little bit because I think they may need to win this game even more, and that might push them to play with a little bit more edge.
I mean, honestly, dude, that might make them more tight, and that's been the concern with Sean McDermott's teams. In like the biggest moments, with all the pressure and the game on the line, his teams seem to, get shaken up and they fold. And you could say, okay, Miami got blown out by Baltimore, and that was definitely a disappointing game. But bro, like, the Bills were playing the Chargers and the Patriots, like 2 of the worst teams in the league right now, and they barely won both games. Like,
I mean, look, you do got to give credit though, as much as let's go to the Chargers game, right? Because you saw what the Chargers got done to them against the Raiders, dropping 63 on their head. But watching the game, they played well. Like, they played hard in that game. Like, I could tell when the team's effort is, I'm trying to win this game. Despite the talent, I'm trying to win this game. The Chargers were trying to win this game. They were trying to end the Bills season, but it didn't happen. And I actually was more impressed that the Bills were able to mentally not blow that game away. They won that game. I was very impressed because the Bills team of old would have lost that game with all due respect. And the Patriots, it's Bill Belichick, bro. Like, say what you want. I understand, it's Bailey Zappi and it's Bill Belichick and this year's version of the Belichick-led New England Patriots, but it's still Bill Belichick, bro. And he sees Josh Allen so many times. Okay, so he has that familiarity with Josh Allen, bro. So say what you want. I understand it wasn't perfect. It didn't look great against New England. However, it got to look great here against the Dolphins. Otherwise, they're going home. More than likely, they may get help, but more than likely, they may be going home. And I think they'll wake up for this game. It's a divisional game. It's a team that they know they could beat. They beat them earlier. They literally beat them down. And I think they'll get up for this game. I think we'll see the best Buffalo we saw probably since the Cowboys game a couple weeks ago. But it'll be a much closer game.
I mean, they better get up for this game, bro. Like, their season might be on the line. The fact that we even have to ask for that question is a little concerning to me. I'll trust McDaniel more. Tua, I think he needs a big moment. Like, I get it. He wasn't great on Sunday in Baltimore. The Ravens, really dominated that game. But I think he'll come to play here. I think Miami has the coaching edge. I think Fangio will have something cooked up. And I do agree, though, in the sense that, like, that Bills-Celtics comparison, I think it's spot on. And, man, I just feel like the Bills season couldn't end in any other way than a game literally, like, coming down to, if you win, you would have home field advantage in the AFC over anyone besides Baltimore. But if you lose, you might be on the couch. And like the other two games are fascinating because Jacksonville, you give them credit. They dominated Carolina. I know it's Carolina, but Trevor Lawrence didn't play in that game. That might be the opposite, like going on the road in Tennessee. That's a divisional game. The Titans have nothing to play for. Vrabel, I know, will have his team motivated. I sent you guys that clip of him just going off on a reporter in his press conference today. I think Tennessee is going to come to play. Pittsburgh, Baltimore should be interesting. Hopefully, Brad Allen and his crew don't do any shenanigans. But man, this is why I love Week 18. Like, there are just so many different scenarios. We haven't even gotten to the NFC yet, really. We hit on Bears, Packers, but man, the playoff field coming together. There's no better time of year. I just can't wait till Sunday.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.